Welcome to Suchar Next Gen Tech. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on the magic that powers some of the slickest, fastest websites you use every single day.
You know that feeling, right? You click a button and the page updates in a blink. You scroll and new stuff just appears, smooth as butter. It doesn't reload the whole page, it just works. It almost feels less like a website and more like a native app on your phone.
So, what is the secret sauce? How do developers craft these incredibly responsive and dynamic digital spaces? Well, the answer, in a whole lot of cases, is a powerful technology called React. And today, we're going to break down exactly how it pulls off this magic. Okay, let's dive right in.
The first secret to React's success is its absolute obsession with speed. And to understand how it gets there, we need to talk about something called the virtual DOM. Now, I know that sounds super technical and complicated, but the idea behind it is actually brilliant and surprisingly simple.
Think about it like this. Your website is a huge, complex building. The old way of making changes was like taking a sledgehammer to an entire wall just to hang a little picture. It was slow, it was messy, it was disruptive. React takes a much smarter approach. It keeps a virtual blueprint of that entire building in its memory. So when you want to hang that picture, it first makes a tiny mark on the blueprint, which is lightning fast because, it's just a plan.
Yeah, that old way, which involved directly messing with the live building, technically called the document object model, or DOM, it was just clunky. It often meant rebuilding huge sections for the tiniest of changes, making the whole site feel sluggish. The React way, by contrast, is surgical. By using its virtual blueprint, it can pinpoint the exact smallest change needed and apply only that one. This is the real key to that instant responsive feeling we all love.
This whole hyper-efficient process has a fancy name, reconciliation. But it really just works in 4 simple steps. First, you click something. Second, React instantly updates its in-memory blueprint. Third, and this is where the real magic happens, it compares the new blueprint to the old one and finds the absolute minimum that needs to change. And finally, it performs that one tiny surgical update on the live website. That's it. It's incredibly efficient, and it's the reason everything feels so fast. Okay, so React is fast, we get that. But speed is only half the story. Modern websites are enormous and complex. So how do developers manage all of that complexity without getting totally lost? Well, the answer is all about how React organizes things.
React's second really big idea is to build websites not as one giant monolithic thing, but out of small, independent, and reusable pieces called components. The absolute best analogy for this is building with Legos. You can build a search bar brick, a button brick, a profile brick, and then you just assemble them into your app. This not only keeps the code incredibly clean, but it also means large teams of developers can all work on different bricks at the same time, speeding up the whole process.
Now, what if you want your Lego bricks to do more? What if you want a brick to remember if it's been clicked, or maybe to go fetch some data from the internet? That's where hooks come in. Hooks are like specialized power tools for your components. They let you hook into React's core features, giving your simple building blocks powerful new abilities, like memory, which developers call state, or the ability to run some code after something on the page changes. To make sure these power tools work predictably and don't cause total chaos, React has a few very simple rules. Just think of them as safety instructions. By always calling hooks at the top level and never inside loops or conditions, developers make sure that React can keep track of everything reliably every single time the screen updates. It's this discipline that keeps even the most complex apps stable and easy to maintain.
Hey, just a quick pause. If you're finding this breakdown helpful and you want to understand the tech that's shaping our world, take a second to hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you in the Suchar Next Gen Tech community.
All right, so React is fast and it's organized, but its philosophy goes even deeper than that. It's really about building a better, more inclusive experience for every single user, right from the moment they land on your page. One way it does this is by optimizing how the page first loads. With traditional client-side rendering, you often get that blank white screen while your browser is downloading and figuring everything out. But with a technique called server-side rendering, or SSR, the server sends a fully formed page right to your browser. The important part is you see content immediately. It feels faster, and it's also much, much better for search engines. React also helps developers be smart about what code they send to you. Instead of sending one giant file with the code for the entire website, it uses a technique called code splitting. With this approach, your browser only downloads the core code it needs to start. Then, when you navigate to, say, your profile page, it loads just the code for the profile page.
This makes that initial load time way, way smaller.
And finally, a great experience has to be an accessible one. React is built to help developers create websites that work for everyone, including people with disabilities. It makes it easier to manage keyboard navigation, use the correct HTML tags, and integrate with assistive technologies like screen readers using special instructions called ARIA attributes. It's a foundational part of building a modern, inclusive web.
So, after all of that, what's the big picture? What should you really take away from this whole explainer on React?
Let's recap it real quick. First, React's speed comes from its clever use of a virtual blueprint, the virtual DOM, to make minimal, surgical updates. Second, it tames complexity by breaking everything down into those reusable Lego bricks called components. And third, it's designed from the ground up to create a fast, accessible, and just plain excellent user experience. At the end of the day, React isn't just a tool, it's a philosophy for how to build for the modern web.
And that leads us with a final thought. As the line between our digital and physical lives keeps blurring, with smart displays, augmented reality, and more, think about this. How will these core principles of instant feedback, modular design, and a user-centric focus shape not just our websites, but all of our future interactions with technology?
If that's a future you want to know more about, make sure you subscribe for more deep dives from us here at Southchar Next Gen Tech.
Thank you so much for viewing this video. We'll see you in the next one.